Dating apps. You've probably downloaded some in the past. Perhaps even used them. Whether it's Tinder, Hinge, or OkCupid, there are so many. Yet, as popular as these apps were in the 2010s era, the tide is starting to turn against them. In February 2024, one of the most popular ones, Bumble, decided to lay off 250 people, or about 30% of its workforce. This highly successful dating company that has made a skyrocketing rise these past few years and used to be worth $9 billion during its heydays in 2021 is now struggling. And so is its competitor Match Group, the owner of Tinder and 46 other dating apps. This app's algorithm, which focuses on aggressive monetization strategies, doesn't necessarily prioritize helping users find love, and this strategy is causing them a lot of issues. In fact, this company's combined market value plummeted by more than $40 billion since 2021. Today, we're gonna find out why these apps are struggling so much, and how they might evolve in the future to keep themselves relevant. Match Group started in 1994 through their flagship website Match.com. It owns more than 3 dozen dating apps, so they essentially got the market cornered through systematically acquiring rivals, including Tinder in 2014 and Hinge back in 2018. The problem is that all these apps use the exact same business model, and when people switch from an app to another, it's basically the same experience since they are almost all owned by the same company, whose only major competitor is Bumble. You see, apps including Tinder and Bumble still have free ways to experience their services. But the bulk of the revenue, which was about $4.2 billion for both companies last year, was through selling subscriptions, as well as microtransactions, by allowing their users to send the so-called roses in Hinge or super likes in Tinder to potential dates, with smaller income stream coming from advertising. But not enough people are willing to pay these subscriptions, partly because younger daters are increasingly looking to platforms like Snapchat and TikTok to make connections, but also because, unlike other paid subscription services like Spotify or Disney+, dating apps can't guarantee that you'll get what you're looking for. Millennials, which make up the largest generation, were the main dating group when Tinder first rolled out in 2012. But since more of them have married in recent years, this usually results in these people quitting the apps. Now the primary users are from Gen Z, a younger and smaller demographic with less money, and this poses a challenge for the dating app industry. It's worth noting that while this generation still feels a desire to use online dating apps, they're not necessarily experiencing a sense of urgency to find a partner.
We have heard loud and clear that some users, especially the Gen Z cohort, are looking for more from their dating apps.
They often practice slow dating, which, if you didn't know, basically means achieving romantic encounters by taking your time and slowly discovering your suitor. This partly explains why these companies are struggling so much. The other reason is tied to the rise of physical dating events, especially after the end of the COVID-19 pandemics, with new apps like Thursday throwing events for singles in major cities. These types of events, which include speed dating, game-based, and athletic dating events like pickleball, grew by more than 42% between 2022 and 2023, according to the ticketing platform Eventbrite. And Bumble finally got the message by launching Bumble IRL, a new feature inside the app that allows people to meet, as the name suggests, in real life, through a series of events that include spin classes, cocktail events, and other type of in-person singles gathering. But they're not the only one in this market. In-person dating events have been popular for quite some time now.
There's a small spot called Digs, and that's where you'll find the mad dash to discover that love connection.
So people line up in a queue, the men line up in a queue, the women line up in a queue, and they interchange with each other one-on-one and interview each other.
But on a fundamental level, due to their reliance on premium subscriptions to generate revenues, these apps depend on people staying single. In fact, according to a study made by Morgan Stanley, those who end up paying spend between $18 and $19 on either subscriptions or microtransactions. But the problem is that for each successful match, the dating app loses not just one, but 2 customers, at least for the large segment of the user base looking for more than just hookups, which according to the Pew Research Center, make up more than 40% of Americans. The modern consumer is overwhelmed with choices. In the realm of digital services alone, individuals find themselves juggling a multitude of subscriptions. It's not merely the overwhelming array of dating apps vying for their attention, but also the seemingly endless streaming platforms offering content libraries that promises infinite entertainment. This phenomenon of oversubscription extends far beyond the field of romantic pursuits. From entertainment to news to fitness and beyond, consumers are constantly bombarded with options, each demanding a slice of their time, attention, and wallet. Last year, journalist Cory Doctorow coined a term for this phenomenon: "anshitification." It basically means that while some companies start off by making the experience using their app wholesome and fun, with the aim of reaching popularity and creating growth, in the long term, they eventually become too focused on profit, which results in making the entire user experience anshitified. In order to increase the revenue, they specifically tune their algorithm by putting desirable matches behind a paywall, through the things that you mentioned before, like subscriptions or microtransactions such as Super Like in Tinder, or throwing roses at users in the send out section in Hinge. These design features are the same that you find in the psychologically addictive activities such as gambling. You see, we have this thing in our brain called dopamine, and it is basically a neurotransmitter that is associated with pleasure, motivation, and reward. This neurotransmitter is activated not just when something feels good, but also in the pursuit of something feeling good. Gambling doesn't really require someone to win, but to almost win, to have that really reinforcing experience. Poker machines, with their rapid gameplay and frequent small wins, create a constant loop of anticipation and near misses, triggering this dopamine release in the brain, and reinforcing the desire to continue playing. Exactly like dating apps. The swiping mechanism, the endless stream of potential matches, and the occasional match notification all create a sense of excitement and anticipation. Even if most matches don't lead to meaningful connections, the near misses and the possibility of finding the one keeps users hooked. In fact, it's for this reason that a class action lawsuit was launched against Match Group, the owners of Tinder and Hinge. There's this guy who won the Nobel Prize in Economy in 2001, George Akerlof. He came up with a very interesting theory to explain how when buyers can't tell good from bad, bad products take over. Now imagine you're buying a used phone online. You can't tell if it's good or broken, aka lemon. Scared of getting ripped off, you offer a low price. This scares away sellers with good phones, leaving only broken ones. Now you're even more worried, so you offer even less, making the problem worse. It's the exact same thing with dating apps. They initially attract genuine users, seeking meaningful relationships. However, dishonest users with misleading profiles also join. As sincere daters experience disappointing encounters, they become disillusioned and leave the platforms. This exodus of quality user degrades the overall app experience. Consequently, users migrate to newer apps, hoping for better encounters. But since these apps are also most likely owned by Match Group, the cycle repeats itself. All of these issues are made worse by the heavy use of AI-powered bot profiles.
Today we're using AI to generate us Tinder profiles, and the first person to get a phone number using their Tinder wins, while the losers have to feast their eyes on a bunch of AI-generated We're gonna start off by using thispersondoesnotexist.com to generate us fake AI humans.
Which create a scenario where you don't even know whether you're talking to a real person or not. This makes arranging a date a questionable idea. To further illustrate this point, nearly 50% of people believe that dating apps are filled with too many machines posing as real people to be trusted. Some of these tools can even take full control of your entire dating profile, going as far as writing your bio, your responses, identify your best pictures, and even create AI-generated images of you to make you look more attractive. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this new episode. I'll catch you again soon when we'll talk about more high-tech and business-related stuff.